Hey everybody. So it's really cold out today. I got my heavy sweater on, and I just didn't really want to brave the outside today for the chat. So I thought, why not have a cozy fireside chat, just like FDR, you know? So, hope everybody's doing okay on this cold day. It's going to just get colder tonight and tomorrow, so, you know, hope your furnaces are working and all that, and we pray for the homeless. We hope that I've talked to a few people that have volunteered for the warming center, and they've had a good time doing that in the Episcopalian Church downtown. Of course, our homeless shelter, Sojourner House, keeps going too. So, yeah, it's nice to see. I think they could use more. Last I heard, they could use more volunteers for the warming center. Can always contact the parish to see how to hook up there with that. Couple things for the chat. Let's see what we got going here. I have a guest coming tonight from the Diocese of Marquette, Father Larry. He came here last year too. I knew him in seminary, and I hadn't seen him for like 25 years, and he called last year. We had a good old visit. He sometimes takes I think he has a wedding, a friend getting married in the Twin Cities, so he wanted a place to stay overnight. So that's good. The only problem is we got a lot going on tonight. So after this, we have First Confessions, and tomorrow we got Mass, the nursing home Mass in the morning. Tomorrow's 9 o'clock Mass. We have a baptism. It's going to be kind of fun. I can't remember. I think maybe, I don't know if we've had baptism ever at a kind of a daily Mass. You know, we've had them at school Masses before for sure, but anyway, it'll be nice. The Halama family will present their child to us, and we will we'll have that baptism at our daily Mass at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So anyway, Father Larry and I'm not sure when we'll be able to go have breakfast or something, but I will have a nice conversation tonight anyway, around the fire right here. Let's see. I guess I'll just jump into some parish news. How's that? So last week we had the we call it the adult choir, though I think all our choirs are pretty much adults. But and it was just beautiful to hear them, you know, and they had their masks on and stuff, and but they're gonna take a little break now with the COVID rates are just super high and everything, and so she's not real comfortable, and I support that decision. So Becky does such a great job directing our choir, and she teaches at Regis High School as well, and so Mary said they're going to take a little bit of a break, and we just got to be careful. You know, Bishop Callahan has COVID again. He had COVID, I think, I'm pretty sure, several months ago, and he was in the hospital over the weekend. I guess he's getting better now, but we want to pray for him and everybody who's suffering with this. We have our kindergarten just had to stop meeting as of today. A couple reported positive cases there. And first grade has been on a break. I think maybe they came back. I think they came back today. But so you know, it's around, and it's something we want to be careful about to avoid as much suffering as possible. So I had a nice story about COVID. It was a nice story, you know, because they caught COVID. But so Tim and Steph, they talked to me last week. They said, "Hey, you know what? You haven't seen us in a while because we had COVID." And they said it was like, you know, they're not unusual. A lot of people are having it. But they were so grateful that on Christmas Eve we had the 6:30 Mass. That we had all the pews were roped, every other pew, and so it was for those who really wanted to be cautious as they worshipped. And so they said we came and we double masked and we felt fine, but the next day, you know, and they were positive. So we said we were just so glad you had it set up for the distancing, and thanks for encouraging people to wear the masks. And we think that kept us from spreading the virus ourselves. And so anyway, because you guys are doing things right. So I know it's hard to please everybody, but we love stories like that because it's a lot of thought that we try to put into it. And so if it seems like it pays off or it helps stem the tide of the virus, we're glad to be part of that. Sure is in the news a lot, isn't it? Boy. Hey, I heard a nice story this morning. We had a staff meeting today. So it's out everywhere I've been. So Wednesday nights are supposed to be like tonight, church night, and so the schools are supposed to back off in terms of scheduling sports events or drama club or whatever on Wednesday night. Those are supposed to be reserved for church. And everywhere I've gone, it's been sort of a tussle. It's like the things kind of creep in from the schools, high schools. And anyway, I was a basketball player in high school, and I would have been super reluctant if we had a basketball event to tell my coach, I have class tonight at church. I wouldn't have wanted to, because basketball was everything to me then. And, but I would have been like, I don't know if I want to get on the bad side of the coach. Anyway, I don't know if it was, I forget which our staff members said, but they said one of the youth came up to the coach and said, I can't come to practice this week because, I have church event, my confirmation class. And she said, the coach said, "You're making the right choice. Thanks for telling me." Isn't that great? I just thought, well, that's because I'm not sure every coach would say that, but maybe. Anyway, that's good. Hey, that Italian dinner that's coming up. It'll be Sunday, February 13th. We got the menu. Beth announced the menu today. So it's going to be 100 meals max served. So you might want to call in your order ASAP. I didn't do that yet myself. So chicken and cheese manicotti with a blush sauce. So not just a red sauce, with a blush sauce. So a little cream in there, I think, is what makes it a blush sauce. Meatballs. This is all homemade stuff. The pasta included. And then tiramisu. I didn't know you could call something tiramisu if it didn't have espresso in it, but this is not going to be an espresso tiramisu. She said it's a lemon raspberry tiramisu. Pretty good. So that'll be $15 a serving by takeout once again because of the virus stuff. It'd be nice to have that eat in. It'd be such a joyful thing. And oh man, I'm just getting, we gotta be able to have fun together again pretty soon, right? Dang. What else we got here? Well, Habitat for Humanity is having a big painting day, I guess, at a house in town. So if you'd search Habitat for Humanity Eau Claire on the internet, you could find out how to sign up for that. We have a parishioner, Kevin Potter, who's really involved in that, and he let us know about that. Sleep in Heavenly Peace, that's the program we're participating in. So through the end of the month, we're taking donations for, I almost said vocations, taking vocations too, but taking donations for beds, like little beds, like twin beds, pillows, sheets, blankets. And if you want to be part of a day where they're actually making them, that's going to be this coming Saturday, putting together those beds. The goal of this organization is that every child should have a bed. And so they make these beds. Apparently every child doesn't. And when they make these beds, there's a place for them to go so a child can sleep in a bed. That's our January charity. Okay. So I mentioned we're going from here to reconciliation. We have the 38 second graders getting first reconciliation through St. James today, or last Wednesday and this Wednesday. It's a good thing. Then next week I get to start talking to the second grade parents about Eucharist. It's an easy topic for me to talk about. I just love it. It's the best thing we got going in our church, I think, among the many other good things. What else we got here? Oh, this Sunday will be the rite of welcome. So at the 10 o'clock Mass, it's part of the RCIA process, the process that people who aren't Catholic become Catholic. It's also Catholics who aren't confirmed go through it or to be fully initiated. But we have 2 candidates this year. So Mackenzie Johnson is our first grade teacher at our school, St. James School, and Krista Barrett, who came to us this summer with her daughters and lovely family. And so we'll get to formally welcome them and pray over them on Sunday. That'll be great as they get ready for the Easter sacraments. What else? So today I went to at the I had a burial service at the Calvary Cemetery, the Catholic cemetery in town, and used this book. And essentially, it was a nice family. They were just looking for a priest because I think their priest wasn't available, so I didn't know the person. But I have this little worship aid, and we sing this song: "To you, O Lord, I lift my soul. To you, I lift my soul." And there's like 3 verses, and I was told there's going to be like 2 people there. Well, ended up being 5, but it's a small group, but a nice dignified prayer that we had. But I thought, well, I don't want to just have them sing all that, and so I said, let's just sing the refrain, one verse instead of all of them, and the refrain. But man, I started singing it, and I don't know if you've ever been in that chapel at the cemetery there, but it's very resonant, echo, beautiful place to sing. And so we started singing, and it sounded beautiful, and I knew it wasn't just me because it sounded beautiful. And so we finished the 1 verse refrain, and I said, wow, let's keep going. Let's finish this song. And so it was good. And then after the service, I said, boy, you guys really prayed well. And especially these little kids that were singing so well. And the dad said, well, you know why? I said, no. Well, they go to Holy Ghost school. I said, well, that's great. So we have Catholic Schools Week coming up, not next week, but the week after. But it is a beautiful thing when they are able to go to Mass and they learn all the church songs. And that's a real advantage of the Catholic schools that we got going. So anyway, that was a nice thing to hear today. Let's see. I maybe got through all the parish news. That'd be good. I want to share something. I've been watching. A lot of people watch this TV series called This Is Us. And I just suddenly got access to all the episodes, so I was catching up on them, and there's just this beautiful thing. I just wanted to kind of share with you. It's sort of an Easter kind of thing. I don't know. So if you hear me preach it again in church, don't say, oh, you said that already. But I just want to share. It's kind of a longer thing, but it's really kind of a neat thing for me here. So there's Jack and Rebecca, right? They have. She's pregnant with triplets, and one of them dies in birth or in the womb. And then there's another baby right there that's sort of left at the doorstep of a fire department. So they brought him into the hospital. And I don't think we could do that now, but back then anyway, they were able to just almost adopt the child on the spot. They took the child home. And anyway, the doctor there was just really, his first couple episodes, the doctor is just so soulful and helpful to them and working through their grief with the death of their one child at birth. And then later on, after I think it was on their first birthday with the kids, the mom is just really grieving again the loss of, the grief kind of hits another peak. Grief goes up and down. And they said, let's go see Dr. K again. So they went to go see Dr. K. And said, we're really struggling with our grief. Could you help us? And this is what happens. So hopefully I can read my own writing. He told him, he goes, you guys, I used to sing to my wife's pregnant belly. My go-to was blue skies smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see. Blue birds singing a song. Nothing but blue skies from now on. You sing that to the child in the womb. He said, I sang that song every day to my unborn child. And when we lost that child, for the first month after that, my wife and I would sit in the den and listen to that scratchy recording on the record player over and over again. It made us so sad. It was like we were punishing ourselves. And then one day, my wife got pregnant again. And to my great surprise, I found myself singing that same song to the very same belly. And then 25 years later, I danced with my daughter to that song at her wedding. That song, it made us happy. It made us sad. It was the whole human experience wrapped up in that one song. Hospitals are kind of like that. Within these walls, people experience their greatest joys and greatest tragedies, all under one roof. I think the trick is not trying to keep the joys and the tragedies apart. You got to let them cozy up to each other. Let them coexist. And I think if you can do that, if you can manage to forge ahead with all that joy and heartache mixed up inside of you, never knowing which one is going to get the upper hand, then, well, life does have a way of shaking out to be more beautiful than tragic. You know, I mean, and of course on TV it's got this nice music behind, and so, but I mean, I have to say my face was wet after hearing all that, and so it's a lot of like we hold death and resurrection together. Like he's saying, if we can hold all that together, the joys and the heartaches, and just kind of keep moving ahead, we find that when it shakes out, life is more beautiful than tragic. And that's kind of the promise of our faith, not that necessarily that this life for everyone will be more beautiful than tragic. A lot of people are just born into tragedy and they die young, and that is a deep sadness that we should all be aware of and try to be in solidarity with and prevent. But, yeah. I whenever I hear any experience or advice about embracing what's real, what's true, and that's what I think what I liked about that, you know, and that they would have, he said like it was punishing themselves, but to have the courage to sing that song when it made them so sad, and to be together and love one another through all that, you know, not like we have to get over this or we have to put this through, but it's always part of anybody who's lost a child knows that it's never not part of you. It's just a deep, deep sadness, and it's always part of you, and you don't want it to not be a part of you because you love the child or whoever died or whatever loss it was, and we pray for the strength to keep forging ahead. And it's not like we get over it, but it coexists with other things that are more positive and hopeful and joyful. So the sadness isn't obliterated, but it walks alongside gratitude, moments of joy. Life's messy, you know. But anyway, I really like that promise to kind of just keep walking ahead with each other through sad times. We do have a grief group, by the way, at St. James, which is really good. The leaders are very dedicated and very caring. Christy and Pat, I know, tend to be the leaders right now, I think. We had a man, Michael, who just was very open that he's super sad because his wife died recently, and I told him about this grief group. He said, I'm in. When does it meet? You know, and I walked through the gathering space last week, and he was there with them. And so it's beautiful when people know that they could use a little support and receive the help. So, yeah. I guess that's pretty much it. I don't know what else I would go on. We have the conversion of St. Paul coming up next week. It's a beautiful feast day. So maybe we can just kind of leave it at that. I don't think I really have really much more to report. It wouldn't be great. So it's still plenty long, isn't it? Over 20 minutes. So sorry. Oh, why don't we do that Taizé chant about the kindling of fire? Since I'm here by the fireplace, I'll just kind of back out here. I'll show you a picture of my mom though. It's from 17 years ago. As soon as I say I'm done talking, I always start talking. Where did it go? I thought I just had it because I was going to show you. Well, nuts. Isn't that something? I'll probably find it a second after I turn off the camera. I just had it. Is it on the floor? Anyway. But speaking of mom, today happens to be here it is. That's a nice picture. I think she likes that one. That's in front of a church during a vacation in 2004. Is that where it is? Yeah. So, and speaking of mom, I don't know if she's aware. I'll have to call her and tell her. I did talk to her today, but I forgot to mention today's the 21st anniversary of my father's death. Speaking about grief and all, and that was a hard one because he died real suddenly. He played tennis in the morning, and then he died at noon, watching TV. And mom was with him, but it was out of town. I was leading a service trip in Chicago with a dozen college students. Just by sheer luck or grace, however you want to look at it, we had another adult chaperone with a car, and he sat me down. He's a doctor, and he was able to, with a lot of experience, I think, telling people bad news. And it's on top of an old homeless shelter soup kitchen. We were sleeping upstairs, and he said, "Brother Tom, I need to talk to you." I said, "Sure, yeah, what do you want?" And he's like, "I think maybe you want to sit down." And then I knew, so I sat down, and he said, I just got a call, and your dad died. I was like, "What?" And he kind of told me, he said, "I know." So I got on the horn, I called my mom, and spent that night above the homeless shelter. It was the soup kitchen. The homeless people slept in another building, and I didn't want to go that night just as far as driving, but I was able to just leave because he had a big car and he could get the rest of the students home after a couple more days service. But I was just sleeping on the floor on a mat and just kind of staring up at the ceiling, and I don't know if I got any sleep or not, but not much, right? And the students couldn't have been more gracious and kind. And then I went back and I wanted to see my friend Father Bob, North Chicago, because I went to seminary in Chicago, so I knew some people there, but he wasn't in, And remember, the housekeeper was there, and I said, "Yeah, my father died. I just found out." And then, she couldn't have been kinder to me, but I had to get going. So then I drove to my brother's house in Iowa, and people grieve different. I hadn't cried at all. This is 12 hours later or something, and then I remember just being on the two-way highway on the way to Iowa, and I just started bawling, and I had to pull over, and thus it began, So I wasn't expecting to go into all that, but sometimes it helps to know how other people grieve, and we all lose, we all suffer, and we all grieve, and we all have the promise of resurrection in Christ. We all have the challenge, I think, to keep forging ahead with the time that we have to try to live good lives that make those who preceded us proud to have been part of our lives. So, anyway, good. I do think we can talk to those who've gone before us. So, Dad, I hope you don't mind me sharing that with everybody. I'm sure you're okay with it because you're enlightened in heaven now. So, it's a good song for grief, too, about healing from grief. Within our darkest night, you kindle a fire that never dies away, that never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle a fire that never dies away, that never dies away. Within our darkest night, You kindle a fire that never dies, a way that never dies, a way. Within our darkest night, you kindle a fire that never dies, a way, never dies, a way. Within our darkest night, you kindle a fire that never dies, a way that never dies, a way. Within our darkest night, you kindle a fire that never dies, a way that never dies, a way. Within our darkest night, you kindle a fire that never dies, a way that never dies, a way. Within our darkest night, you kindle a fire that never dies, a way that never dies, a way. Within our darkest night, you kindle a fire that never dies, a way that never dies, a way. Within our darkest night, you kindle a fire that never dies, a way that never dies, a way. God bless you.